Alright, let's go ahead and get started on our winter scene. I still have a cold. This is only a few days later after my last painting, so I still have a cold, but we're going to pretend like I don't. So, this is going to be a winter scene today. Lots of purples, blues and purples. We're going to start our sky off with some pink. Imagine that. And I want it really light. Really light. I'm using a 1-inch brush right now. I got a few lines on here just to kind of keep me going in the right direction here. And I do have a picture to look at today. Let's bring this. This is more like a horizon kind of a. This is all going to have leaves and trees. You won't see much of the sky, to be quite honest. But you got to put it in anyway. And we're just going to keep bringing it up. And then we're going to switch over to some phthalo blue here in just a minute, and then I'll blend it. This is a wet on wet. The whole thing is wet on wet. If you don't know what that is, it helps your paints blend. It's also called liquid white and liquid clear. That's the stuff that you put on here. That's probably good for the pink. According to the picture, like I said, there's a lot of leaves and trees. You won't see a lot of this. Let me grab a little phthalo blue. It's actually fairly light. But I'll make it a little darker around the edge this time it's all said and done. Yeah, I'll bring it on down here. Even though you can't see it probably when it's all done, but still yet. Don't make no difference, you gotta do it. Bring this on down in the painting a little bit today. A little different than we normally do. Let's take some Prussian blue. Let's darken up the corners and across the top. Don't want it too dark, I guess, but still got to have something up in here. Okay, I'm going to grab me a 2-inch brush. Find one pretty clean. I wash them off every day, but they still get stuff on them. And we're just going to blend this up. Probably all you're going to see is just a little bit here. I don't think you're going to see any of the edges of the sky. But as I said, you got to put it in anyway. It's part of the painting. Yeah, I don't care if there's blue mixed in with this today or not. Actually needs probably a little bit to dull the pink down just a little. And I'm using crisscross strokes, by the way, in case I didn't tell you. I don't think I did. Crisscross strokes, that's the best way to blend the sky. Okay, let's stand back and take a peek, see what we got here. All right, I think what I want to do now is go ahead and throw a little bit. This painting's a little dark. I mean, it's got a lot of dark purples in it and things of that nature. So I think what I want to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and just throw a little snow in. Just get some colors going, get something happening here. Just keep me on the right track. Okay, that's probably good. See, like I said, this area here is so cluttered with trees. I'm not sure you can see any of this, but we'll do it anyway. No sense in coming back and redoing. It's got to have something there anyway, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, let's get a dark. See, I've got many shades of different colors here. Let's get a darker color. You don't want it too dark because it may not look like snow if you get it too dark. See, it's pretty dark, but it's dark in the picture. I'm just going to bring this up, down. Just put something in here. Just to get the painting going, we're going to put something in here. Just to get it going. This is a dark area, of course, right here. Okay, let me find a few more darks. I'm just going to do some dark spots here real quick. Get some of these dark spots out of the way that I know are dark. Here's a dark spot. It runs over this way. Okay. And let's see, the rest of this I'm just not sure. I'll go ahead and throw some, let's see what this does. Let's just throw something in here. I'm actually digging into some white here. I got a lot of blue on my brush at this point. Just to, this is going to have shadows on it. This is just a base. I'm just putting color down at the moment. I'm using mainly white because my brush is so blue. For the moment this will get us going on something. And that's what we need. We just need to get going, don't we? Okay, so far I think it's, at the moment, I think it's okay for what we're doing. Just getting started though, aren't we? This is usually the easy part, getting started. It's the other part that makes it a little tougher. I'm going to take some darker colors and put down in here in these corners. See the land sloping down right there. A little darker down in here. Okay. All right, for the moment, I think this is okay. For the moment. Now, I have got a big, gnarly fan brush. It's kind of beat up, and see, it has a purpose. That's why you don't want to throw your brushes away all the time. This actually has a purpose. I'm going to take some of this pink, and I'm going to start throwing in, I know this is going to look crazy to start with, but I'm going to start throwing in some sporadic leaves and branches. And see, the sun is over here pointing this way, so what we're going to see is the dark side of the trees. So let's start over here where it's not quite so obvious. This painting's a little complicated, not a whole bunch, but a little. And I'm going to throw some of this in just randomly to represent leaves. And of course, other colors will go on top. Which will be purples and blues. But you got to have some pink showing through because the sky's pink. And I am following the picture a little bit closer today on this particular painting. In this particular painting, I'll admit I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see, right up in here. Oh, it looks crazy, don't it? I mean, this looks plumb crazy. All right, let's take us some, let me try to get a color that matches the picture. Let's start with a mix of both of these. Let's just start right in here. Why not? We're going to have several layers of colors. This is going to take a while. This is probably the hardest part of the painting, is these leaves. And then I got about 30 or 40 trees I got to throw in here. Let's just see how it all works out. You can twist your brush. This is pretty dense. Pretty dense area here. Lots and lots and lots of foliage. Real thick, especially like right here. This is real thick. And it does come all the way to the top. Remember what I said about the sky? You won't be able to see it. This is an example. Very thick. And when we put our trees in, it'll make more sense what I'm doing. I'm doing these first. All right, I started putting a few trees in here. Had to make some more purple. And this is what I'm doing. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of limbs. There's a lot of work up in this area. That's where all the work is today. But we're going to get it. I'm going to start right here. This tree, it goes all the way up. There's several of them right here in this grouping right here. Real close together. Even though it looks like almost one tree. I mean, we could make it one tree. I may make it one tree. They're really close together. I don't like them that close together because it does look like one tree. So sometimes you're better off just to go ahead and do it. Let's get a couple big trees. Here's a great big one right here. Let me make them a little more crooked. They're a little too straight for my taste. This ain't a real big brush. This is number 3. I'm actually taking some raw umber, mixing it with this blue, just to darken the trees a little bit. Here's a real big one. It's going to come right into here. Remember, we're looking at the dark side of the trees. The sun is over at the horizon, or the light, and it's shining this way. So our trees are going to be dark. And I hope this is making more sense now. See, now we got to go over this again with more leaves. I hope this is making a little bit more sense than it did to start with. It's confusing, quite honestly. I mean, if you're not looking at the picture, and even if you are looking at the picture, sometimes it's confusing. Let me put a few more little trees in here. Maybe one right, oops, almost too big. Maybe one right there. You know, you just look around, just see where you think you might need some trees, because man, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, man, I'm not kidding you. Let's put one right here. Okay, there's several of them back in here, just kind of hanging out. Make them different heights. Just bring this one down. This one's a little bigger than the rest of them. It's going to come probably to there. All right, I've been working on this a little bit. I got my branches put in, put some shadows in. I'm going to put 3 birch trees right here, right in front. I had to do this off camera. I got into a coughing spell a while ago where I told you I had a cold. I wasn't joking. So I had to work off camera so you guys wouldn't hear me crouping and coughing. Let's put one, let's see. Groups of 3 is typical for, that I've noticed. Let's put one right there. Bring this down a little more. Bring this down a little more. I made this kind of a purplish color. This painting's real wet, as we know, because it's a wet on wet. And also, we just put this stuff in a while ago. So it's really wet. So now, I'm just going to run some highlights down the side of it. I'm going to get some white, mix it with some of this pink. Pink and white. Let's see what we can do with that. This is real wet. I'm not kidding. Really, really, really wet. And I'm spinning my brush as I'm bringing it down to keep the paint flowing. See how blue that is now? That's from the tree itself. And I'm going to do all three of them just like this till we get it about the color that we want. Blend this up a little bit. See, this is so wet. And we know it's going to be. I act like it's a surprise when I say that. It's not a surprise. Guess I was trying to be dramatic, wasn't I? Let's run this down this. I'll probably have to do this several times. But yeah, I had to paint off camera a little bit, man. I apologize for that. It happens. I was around a lot of people on Christmas. All right, I'm back. I had another coughing spell. I apologize. Couldn't get off the camera quick enough. We're just putting in, I'm making the traditional old marks that you see on a birch tree. I'm just using black because this is pretty wet. And I know where the branches attach. It's always really dark. We're just using black, that's all we're doing. And our imagination. We're just randomly putting things in. There's no certain pattern. Except where the branches attach, and I do know it's always dark. That's the only pattern we got here. And we're just going to move on up. And just keep putting them in. All the way to the top. Just wherever we think they need it. You know, birch trees are pretty random as far as the dark spots go. I think that's probably okay. Looks like a birch tree to me. Let's do one more. Let's probably do this one right here. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and do these dark spots here where the branches meet the tree. You know, just so I said, use your imagination, man. Just put them in wherever you think something should be. I really don't think you can go wrong, to be quite honest, because they're so random in nature. I wouldn't put one here and then one up there and say that's good. You know, you got to do the whole tree. But other than that, I really don't think you could probably mess up too bad on a birch tree. Having said that, I'll probably mess this up. No, I'm kidding. I don't think so. I mean, it can happen though. All right, I got one more. I'm going to do it off camera. Well, I think we need a couple more birch trees. The more I'm looking at this, the more I think we need some birch trees, more of them. So I'm just going to take some kind of a bluish color. I have a, I mean, this is after work. I have a very limited palette. Actually, I don't hardly have much on here at all. And this is the next day. Oh, let's put a whopper right here. Probably going to have to get some paint on here. And this brush I got is a little stiff for some reason. So I'm just going to drag it through this stuff. drag it on through. This is kind of a bluish color. Phthalo blue and white. I got a little violet right here that I just had laying around. Make this one a pretty good size one right here if I can. If I get my brush to cooperate. Pretty big one. I'll probably wind up making it wider than that. Like I said, if I get my brush to cooperate. Maybe I didn't get all the oil paint out of it yesterday when I used it. That could be it. Yeah, that's pretty big, ain't it? We got 4, we need 1 more. I could sit this one right in here. I think I will. I think I'll just bring it right down over some of this. And I would not take this one out of the bottom of the painting. I'll probably stop it right in here somewhere. Probably like so. That'll give us 5. Well, let's go ahead and throw some branches on. I put 2 more birch trees right here in the front for a total of 5 birch. And let's just randomly throw some branches in here. This is a number 1 round brush that I'm using. Number 1 round. Let's see here. Let's make a few of them come down. You want them kind of crooked. I'll go back with my liner brush and put some small stuff on these branches. But for now, we're going to do it this way. I'm probably going to put some blades of some brown grass and stuff in this by the time it's all said and done. And maybe some old bushes or something, I don't know. Frozen bushes. We're just kind of making things up as we go like we normally do. But we're just randomly throwing some stuff in here. I've been going around touching some things up. I'm going to put a few bushes in here. I'm going to put one right here and maybe one here in the corner, and I'm going to make them cerulean blue, and I'm going to put snow on them. That's my plan. So let's see how the plan works. I definitely need a bush right here. We'll just bring this one all the way down. Something like so. This is black I'm using. Got to put your dark color down first. Let's put one right here in this corner. Make this corner a little, I would say darker, but by the time you get snow on it, it won't be darker. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay, that's probably not too bad. Now, let's get us some cerulean blue. It's a really nice color, and it probably would go great with this painting right here. If I can get this stick on here. Okay, let's wipe it off, get some clean stuff, because I'm using this same brush, this black, had the black paint on it. Okay, that's probably not too bad. And remember, we're putting white on top of that to represent the snow. Okay. All right. I'll have to clean, maybe have to get another brush. I don't know. Let's take I got 3 little bushes up in here, and I'm gonna try to do it with this same brush I used, had the black on it. And we'll see what happens. These are kind of small, so you may not need a whole bunch, which is good for a bush so small. Okay, that's probably good right there. Now let me try a different brush to dip in some white. I'm not sure how well this white's going to stick, but you know what? There's only one way to find out, and that's just to do it. Let's start right here. I want to fix that spot. Probably shouldn't have done that. Don't do that. This just represents a little bit of snow. I figured everybody knew that. Okay, let me get my little brush. See if I can get a little bit more of this little brush. It's got so much paint on it. We just want a little bit on the top. That's good. That's good right there. I'm gonna do something with this spot. But anyways, we're getting close to being done. All right, folks, that looks like a wrap. I made this tree here in the front. I made it bigger, made it wider. And that's one of the changes that I made to it. But it looks like a cold, dark scene. That's what we like. Hey guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more future videos. Now, thanks for watching.